any band, you get that friction and that energy, and it's you know, when it's 5 individuals that are not blood related, it's hard enough. But
yeah,
I think when you've got 2 that have grown up together and got all those issues of brothers and whatever politics and things are going on,
maybe it'd be more unusual if they didn't fight.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I wonder if the Proclaimers ever fight.
I can't see it somehow.
Take the glasses off.
And if it wasn't each other, it was the paparazzi who became intimately acquainted with their fists.
Mr. Gallagher was alleged to have lashed out at this photographer, whose camera slammed back into his face.
All in all, we calculate that when it came to blows, the boys' behaviour has cost them nearly £1 million in hotel bills, cancelled gigs and bail money. Now, touring was to provide a large part of the Oasis fortune, but it's the crock of gold at the end of the rock and roll rainbow in America that the most ambitious bands covet. To reach it, you've got to spend a lot of time in a tour bus.
But of course, it's not all sex, drugs and rock and roll, because for 11 months of the year, you spend it on one of these, a tour bus. And what do you get? You get video games, you get a 1,000-strong film collection, that's all well and good. But how much space do you get on one of these? Not very much. Here, for example, is the kitchen. You can probably do a pot noodle, but that's about it. So let's have a look upstairs.
It's like being on a nuclear submarine underneath the polar ice cap, you know, and you're right on top of each other, and you get on each other's tits after a while, and people have smelly feet, and...
What's the hardest bit about it?
Smells of people, man.
Just like a stack of blokes in a bus.
Personal hygiene, you know, no one wants to smell man smells all day.
No.
There's never enough estrogen in the yard, you know what I mean?
So if this is the reality, there's yourself, there's the rest of the band, there's the entourage, there's the groupies. I mean, if there was any action around here, you'd have to be pretty damn quiet.
The world of music has been rocked by the news that Liam Gallagher isn't joining his brother and the rest of Oasis on their tour of America.
Hello, Liam. It's Jeremy Vine from Newsnight here. How you doing?
I'm sound. How are you?
Not bad. Are you coming out?
It's raining, mate.
Why aren't you going to Chicago? Hello, Liam.
It's a painful process for English bands because over there the business is very much more intrusive with the artists. The artists are much more business-oriented in America, and they do the meet and greets, or grin and grips as they're called, where they see all the local radio guys and they meet all the local salesmen. English artists don't like that. They find the whole thing very phony.
So they toured there incessantly. They were forever going to America, but America always broke them up. They were forever splitting up and coming back because they were on the road for 3 months there, cooped up in a coach, you know, together. And, you know, when you put Liam and Noel in a coach together, at some point, it's going to go off.
They rather upset the Americans with their irreverent attitude.
To crack America, you've got to be either really right, or live there. And I'm not living there.
They don't like Brits going over and criticising America, basically. And that's what Oasis did. They just made it quite clear they had no time for America, didn't like it, didn't like Americans, thought the whole place was ridiculous, you know.
So, the boys had lost another battle to be the biggest band in the world. But we shouldn't feel too sorry for them. There are still plenty of fans who still want to see them. At Nebworth, nearly 500,000 applied for tickets. Touring provides a major part of their revenue, and we calculate that the band have made 35 million on tours and merchandise, so each Gallagher received 7 million quid, bringing our liquid assets total to 24 million pounds.
Slip inside the eye of your mind. Don't you know you might find a better place to play?
Noel has proved that from the outset he was a shrewd and calculating player in the business of show.
Well, we weren't very guarded about anything, really. We knew, you know, if we got a cheque for £250,000 we'd show it him, you know what I mean? So he knew what could be got out of the industry, and he saw the way we played it, and in certain avenues we played it brilliantly, but in certain other ways we didn't do the right thing, and I think he learned from our mistakes. His espoused was always a democracy, and it still is, and, you know, it always will be. And I think Noel saw some flaws in that way of working, because with Oasis it never seemed to be about democracy. He didn't waste a minute with the Inspirals. Everything he did was research and development for what's coming next.
With Noel at the helm of the Oasis enterprise, they rocketed above other British bands of the 90s massively outselling all of their Britpop rivals.
It's out of control, man, you know. I mean, we could do 20 million records. It's like, I never even dreamed in my wildest imagination we'd sell 20,000 records. I know 20 million, man, you know what I mean? It's like, that is just, you know, if you stacked them all up, you'd probably reach the moon, 20 million records, wouldn't we?
Actually, Noel, you're over the moon because you and the boys have sold more than 30 million albums, making the band £51 million in the process. And with the business savvy he learned from the Inspirals, Noel has made himself an extra 37 million quid in royalties.
Now, it's every lad's dream to own a fleet of flash cars, and the Gallaghers were no exception. There was just one problem: neither of them could actually drive. But Liam was the first to learn, and he learned in one of these, the wheels that every rock god desires, the Vauxhall Corsa.
The boys seem to go for the classics. Between them, they own Vespers, Minis, a Bristol, a couple of Mercs and a Range Rover. And Noel was bought a Rolls Royce.
I was given it by the record company for Christmas, which makes me think I must be making them a serious amount of money, and I can't wait to see what I get next Christmas.
So, unless all the other cars were Christmas presents as well, we have a combined estimated spend of 250 grand. But apart from cars they can't drive, how else do the Gallaghers spend their millions?
Clothes, guitars, restaurants. Of course they got through a load of money, but it wasn't ridiculous. You know, just the obvious things, like they just bought more trainers.
He is the Imelda Marcos of British pop, totally.
There comes a time when even the wildest of rock and rollers settle down. With Noel and Liam, it happened within months of each other. Noel married party organiser Meg Matthews in Vegas, and Liam wed famous actress Patsy Kensit here at the Marylebone Registry Office. But whilst both brothers had made sure to invite their mum, their father had still not been forgiven.
Liam's struggle with his old man was apparent even on the big day, when in fact he left his name deliberately off the marriage certificate. Now, I'd love to be able to say that on special occasions I take my girlfriend out for a romantic meal, but as she well knows, I'd be lying. Luckily for Meg, however, Noel has more romance in him than I do. And on his first wedding anniversary in Ibiza, he brought her here. Ah, gracias. Classy lad, eh?
Life is precocious in the most peculiar way.
Whilst in Ibiza, Noel decided that he didn't want to be the only rock and roll star without a Mediterranean villa. So I felt it my duty to go off in search of it.
Right, looks like I've found it. It's a place called Atlantis, which was originally built for Mike Oldfield of Tubular Bells fame, and was actually on the market for £2.5 million. Now it says here it's in a place called Escabelles, which is on the southern tip of the island. Yeah, this is definitely it. There's the bridge that we were told about that takes you over to the rock. Let's see how close we can get, shall we? This is definitely our lot, I think. Let's see if there's anybody in.
I'm going driving out of town, and you're coming with me. The right time is always now. So don't let it out, don't let it in, and go let it.
But nobody was home, so I went in search of somebody who could show us around a neighbouring luxury villa. Ibiza's estate agent to the stars, Lorenas to pass.
In the most peculiar way.
Yeah, not bad.
Again, you like it?
Yeah, you could say that. It's beautiful, isn't it?
Well, it's authentic. It's having the atmosphere where all the clients are asking for.